BlogTalk Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Chrism, and I would like to welcome you to another conversation about your Kundalini awakening experience. And then we have a special day today because Eileen Lauro has joined us. Say hello, Eileen.
Hi, this is Eileen.
And Amelia Santara is visiting all the way from Ireland. Here's Amelia.
Hi, everybody, from Santa Rosa.
So, and then, of course, we have Lasha here who chooses to claw up the furniture rather than say hello. So Lasha kind of sends her own signal. Anyway, I would like to welcome you all here, and I'm very grateful that Eileen Lauro has chosen to join us, and that Amelia Santara has visited us and is visiting us from Ireland. And one of the reasons they're doing this is because of the retreat, and we'll get into that a little bit later. With regards to how this program even exists, I want to thank Amelia Santara and her husband John and her family in the Kingdom of Kerry in Ireland for sponsoring this program and assisting in its production. And so I would like to say thank you, Amelia.
You're very welcome.
And I would also like to say thank you to Eileen, because Eileen, since 2007, has done quite a bit in helping this program reach other people and acting as an effective ambassador of the Kundalini to many, many people. And I'd like to say thank you to Eileen.
You're welcome. I was happy to.
Okay, so here we go. In this conversation, one other thing, pardon me. The other areas where you can receive information about your Kundalini, at least from the teachings that come through me, will be the www.KundaliniAwakeningSystems1.com, and that is the number 1.com. And then we also have Kundalini Awakening Systems 1 at YahooGroups.com. We have Kundalini Awakening ! On Google. What do they call it? Google what? On the Google communities. And then on Facebook, we have Kundalini Awakening Systems 1 group on Facebook. We have Kundalini Awakening ! On Facebook as well. And those are some of the other areas, including www.KundaliniAwakeningSeminars.com, where you can get this level of information about your Kundalini. I was talking to a student earlier today via text while I was waiting in the DMV to get my new car registration. I should say the new registration for the car. She's a new student, and she's talking about, oh my gosh, I didn't know demons existed before, and I'm buying these books on demons, and I'm saying, oh, wait a minute, you don't need to scare yourself. There's no need for that. There's no need to cause yourself any more anxiety that the excessive push of adrenaline in your bloodstream from the Kundalini will cause. I mean, give yourself a break and relax a bit. And they go on to discuss some of the books about Kundalini, somebody that calls themselves Strunvalo and other people who claim to have face-to-face experiences with reptilian species who are here to dominate the world, etc. And once again, I will caution them, as I will caution you, to just relax a little bit trying to provoke any kind of an excitability within yourself about what is truly out there. It is fantastic. I will agree. It is it's a much broader universe than one could ever have imagined, full of different species with different agendas. But you're still here, and you're still in this 5 sense package, shall we? Speaking of the human body, and within that context, your levels of appreciation and the rest of the people here on this planet sharing it with you, their levels of appreciation of some of these other areas is not so clear. So I will suggest that you really focus on the divine connection within you. You're lucky enough to have the Kundalini. It is a beautiful, beautiful, fortunate experience. Yes, of course, it has some challenges with it, because as does anything that is new and powerful. But within the context of, having a kind of a spastic ego-based response with regards to searching out all things Kundalini, well, not all books that mention Kundalini in the title have a very good understanding of the energy. Some of the people who write these books haven't even had the Kundalini. They go out and they research other people that have had the Kunalini, and they kind of write it in the third or fourth person, right? So I'm going to suggest that you go get your information from sources that you're comfortable with that have a good track record with working with their Kunalini and assisting others. And I won't say that person is me, but I will suggest that there are other people out there who are doing this. And if you want to find them, they're out there. If you do feel that the information coming through me is good for you, then I do encourage you to continue to listen and apply the teachings that are given through this BlogTalk radio station. I'm going to give the call-in numbers. And the call-in numbers right now are 347-934-0026. So once again, 347-934-0026. If you're listening to this in the archives, then I welcome everybody who's listening in the future in the archives. You don't want to call in. It's already done. And the other thing is if you are listening to this live in the car and you want to call in, pull the car over or have access to a hands-free device. In California, they're really cracking down on people that have the cell phone up to the ears. And I would suggest that you get a good hands-free device of some sort so that you're not putting yourself or others in danger. With that being said, let's talk a little bit about the retreat. A retreat, the way I give a retreat, is very important in that it allows a person to receive firsthand Kundalini emanation from a person who has the awakened Kundalini. It allows not only emanation through actual physical radiance, but it allows emanation through knowledge. It allows radiance through the voice. The voice has a radiance as well as the body having a radiance. And so what is happening at a Kundalini retreat is that Kundalini is being introduced into your system in a very safe, strong, and helpful way. It's a way that doesn't have a lot of fear associated with it. It's a way that doesn't have a lot of angst or paranormal experiences, except for what may happen there at the retreat itself. So I just want you to understand that these retreats are very important, and they're not very common. They're not very common, and if you can at all come to them, I would highly recommend it. I've been giving retreats since I think around 2006. Was the first retreat in Northern California here. This is the first retreat that we'll be doing this next weekend in Santa Rosa. And so I welcome any and all who have an interest to get a hold of Eileen Laurel and or Amelia Santara. Amelia Santara's contact is kundalinimatters@gmail.com, and Eileen Laurel's contact is ELORO55@yahoo.com. So that's ELORO55@yahoo.com. And so do contact either of these individuals and let them of your interest, and a place will be made for you here at this retreat. This is a 2-day retreat. The first day is all about the safeties, is all about information that allows you to begin to get a mental idea and understanding of what Kundalini is all about and what some of your responsibilities would be with regards to the Kundalini. And this is a very good retreat for people that already have the Kundalini going. Often, in the Western world, with the Kundalini being such a surprise for many people, it's very difficult to mingle Kundalini agenda with Western societal agenda, and that can prove to be a real challenge, and it can prove to be a real level of destruction for relationships if people don't know what's going on. A real challenge for a person at work if they're having kriyas at work, so to say. So it's very beneficial. The retreat is very beneficial for those who are already experiencing the energy, and also for those who want to experience the energy. These retreats are an answer to people who are seeking balance within an existing Kundalini awakening situation, or are seeking to begin the illumination experience within themselves. It isn't so much a case of looking outside yourself. It's about looking within yourself, having a communication with a force within you that is of a divine nature that has been waiting dormant at the base of your spine for your entire life. And if you're able to metabolize the whole idea of reincarnation, well, it's been stored in the base of your spine throughout the many lifetimes it has taken to come into this life and have the self-illumination, self-realization experience begin. This begins a whole new level of life experience. This is more than any other religion a way of being born again, but you're born into a situation where you have the ability to manifest communication. You have the ability to communicate with the divine within you, and you have the ability to witness that which occurs through that communication with your Kundalini. So these retreats are very important. They're not like other retreats because you're dealing with a force that is surrounding you while you're at the retreat. The radiance is coming down all around you, and so you're receiving benefit from this radiance at the same time that you're receiving information about the radiance. And this includes, those who are already having radiance within themselves with their own Kundalini awakening. So when you go to these retreats, bring some water, keep yourself hydrated. Be prepared to just be open to what is given to you. Nothing is given to you that is of a fearful quality. Sometimes trust is used as a way of teaching. So you need to be able to have trust. But it's, because you're dealing with many different people at the same time, these are universal levels of trust that are worked with. So realize this and know this, and and begin to formulate a way for you to achieve, coming to one of these retreats. They're very good. They're very good. And the more people that are coming into Kundalini in this world, the better this world will be, because we do discuss the safeties. So we are discussing, applying love-based service to other people, taking our focus off of our own ego, taking our focus off of the fear of loss or the want of gain, taking our focus into areas of tolerance and honesty and truth and benevolence and compassion and love and forgiveness. These very, very, very strong areas of influence upon the individual Kundalini equation. We talk about that. We talk about doing a recapitulation, which is remembering all the different areas in our lives where we have been dominated by the wish for revenge because people have done bad things to us or hurtful things to us. And we have perhaps responded in a hurtful way, and the recapitulation begins to balance those old areas of our life. Now, I'm going to hand the phone over to Amelia, and Amelia is going to give her understanding about what it's like to attend one of these retreats.
Thank you. Well, I have attended a few retreats. The very first time I came to a Kundalini gathering actually wasn't to a retreat, Chrism. It was when I met a group of people who were traveling to John of God in Brazil. But that was my first time meeting people that had Kundalini and meeting with Chrism, my teacher, who became my teacher. And that in itself is a wonderful thing. The first retreat that I came to was here in Los Angeles, and it was, again, fantastic. One of the things that I love about the retreats is the information that came from me. For example, the safeties were discussed. I had been practicing the safeties, but when I came to the retreat and I began to listen to what Chrism had to say and what we shared, it made a huge difference to me, because the safeties, for me, they're actually very proactive. I came from a Christian background, and a lot of the things that I would have used to help me cope with what I had a Kundalini awakening for a while would have been things like thou shalt not do X or thou shalt not do Y. And they're all very good and beneficial, but in a practical application, they didn't help me very much. So what I discovered with the safeties was that they were very much proactive, what I should do, what I could do to come into balance. So, love and service and forgiveness in a very proactive way. So, those things made a huge difference to me coming to the retreat and meeting people with Kundalini. Really, there is nothing like it, because I was very much on my own. I knew nobody who had experienced what I had experienced. I was very isolated, very alone. And so to actually come and meet other people who, so our stories are all different, and we don't all have, the same background and the same story, but there is so much that we share. And, discovering that resonates, it affirms, it's just, Eileen is looking at me and we're smiling. It's just fantastic. So that is another beautiful benefit about coming to a retreat. Each retreat for me has been, very, very different, each retreat, because, being in a Kundalini awakening is not a stagnant or a static process. I mean, sometimes it slows down in the sense that it might appear as if nothing is happening much, but there's always something going on. And so each time I came to a retreat, it was very, very important for me at that particular point in my process, and it's the same now. So what else can I say? So nothing else is coming to me this minute, Chrism. So can I? Okay.
Just so everybody knows, we're passing a cell phone around. This is our high-tech BlogTalk radio broadcast. So I think Amelia brings up some very interesting points, especially the idea of the solitary nature, the isolated nature of having Kundalini and not being able to share it with anybody. I mean, the risk you run with sharing it with other people, as I've mentioned in other conversations, is social ostracizing. I mean, you are so different from people. You know, people aren't having kriyas. People aren't having spontaneous, shall we say, vocal kriyas. You know, screaming for no reason or yelling for no reason or saying words that are completely out of context with what the conversation's having, or spontaneous body positioning. You know, people tend to look at that like you've got some sort of a medical issue. So, of course, that lends itself towards more isolation. And I too felt isolated early on in my process, and I felt isolated to the point that, having a medical background, I knew that if I went into a doctor's office and said, "Oh, doctor, I've got these spontaneous body positionings happening to me at night. They look like yoga. I'm having spontaneous vocal outbursts. I'm seeing visions, and my left big toe has turned black. Oh, doctor, what do I do?" And, you know, he's already loading the syringe with some sort of a tranquilizer and calling the ambulance, you know, to send me off to the psych ward. So, you know, I knew not to go, that I there was no medical recourse for this. And so I just had to go it alone for over a decade. And what these retreats offer is a way of not having to go it alone. You can see other people, you can meet other people, you can compare your path with what their path has been, and you can find the similarities. It's a huge, gosh, I remember when I first heard, of that there was a Kundalini retreat being given. And I'm not talking about Reiki. This has nothing to do with Kundalini Reiki. This was a martial artist guy that was putting on a retreat in Colorado, and even though I knew that, I knew from the Kundalini within me that no, martial arts are not the way for you to go with this. I still went anyway, just to meet other people that knew about Kundalini. You know, I flew from California to Colorado. It took me I don't know how many paychecks to save up to be able to do that. I stayed in a youth hostel, and I joined in with this seminar, and I kind of embarrassed myself because for every one question that people in the audience asked, I asked about 50. But the gentleman was very patient, very kind, and he answered every single one as best that he could. And so I was very, very happy to meet other people and to be able to partake with other people in a meaningful format of receiving information about the Kundalini. And this is what we do at these retreats. It's a huge relief and a boon and a pleasure to meet other Kundalini people. They're the best people. They are kind, they are loving, they are helpful in most cases. And, if they're not that way, they typically don't want to come to a retreat. It is. The retreat is a very special opportunity. And I'm going to pass the phone over to Eileen now. Eileen has been to a few retreats, and let's get her take on this.
Thank you, Chrism. As Amelia was speaking, I was sitting here thinking, okay, now what can I bring to this discussion? What I fall back on is community. Each retreat has a different feel about it, and it's based on the people that come. And I know that Chrism has an idea in mind. He has some things that he wants to do at each retreat, but oftentimes he has the option to flow with it, and he does. Nothing is set in stone. if the group requires this activity, then that activity will be performed. There's not an ABC, we have to do this. And I've been to a number of retreats, and each one is so unique. And the activities often depend, too, on the environment. Some of the retreats have been overnight retreats, and so that offers a different type of venue. Some of them have been in a single room, and so you have a different feel. But no matter which venue one goes to, it's the people that make up the retreat. And the retreat and the information is given for those specific people. And that's the thing that I really enjoy. And Amelia touched on this in that each time you go, you learn a different information on a different level. The same thing in some cases may be repeated by Chrism because that's part of the knowledge that needs to be given, but you receive it in a different way because your process is at a different place. I'm excited about this particular retreat because it's here in Santa Rosa, and we've never had one here before. And this is a beautiful area, and the space, the venue is a beautiful space, and I'm looking forward to meeting the people. And for me, it is about the community and building community because, as the others, as Chrism and Amelia have said, they were isolated. I was very fortunate because when my Kundalini kicked in, as I say, I met Chrism immediately. So I didn't have that long or many years of being alone. I had information, and I immediately started helping with the program, with the KAS Kundalini Awakening Systems program, and that basically has become my way of life now. And being part of the retreats is part of that service. And I'm more than happy to do it, and I love meeting the people, and I really hope to meet many people this weekend. You won't be disappointed. Being in the presence of enlightened master or enlightened teacher is a wonderful feeling, and then also each individual person gives of their radiance, as Chrism said, and it just adds to the entire experience. And sometimes you may not feel things right at that moment or during the retreat, but then afterwards, as your body processes it, as the Kundalini works with what you've learned and the energy that you've received, things start happening. And Chrism is always available afterwards to answer questions, to help you with the process. And that's another thing that I really appreciate with this program. You're not coming to a retreat where it's 2 days and then goodbye, we won't see you again. That's not what happens. And it's very important for me anyway to have a teacher who is open to long-term and information that is needed at the time. And I think I'm going to end there. I hope to see more of you. The retreats and seminars that I've attended have been wonderful, and I've met wonderful people. And I hope to meet more. So thank you.
Well, thank you both for giving your thoughts and feelings about this. And I would like to also echo what Eileen Noro has said in regards to community. This is about community building. This is about having a Kundalini community, because when these changes work their way through your body, most of your friends, your family, your workmates, they will have no clue, no understanding about what is happening to you. But your Kundalini family will. And so do reach out and come to these retreats whenever they're given. I've backed off on giving these retreats for a little while now. This is the first one that I will have given since 2011, I think, yeah. So this, it's an important thing for you to develop, and it's different than an online community. It comes, in many cases, it comes from the online community, but this makes it personal. This, you get to see them, you get to hear them, you get to interact with them positively, give each other a hug. I mean, it's very beautiful, and it's a very helpful experience within your Kundalini awakening experience and your process of that experience. So I wanted to say that about these retreats. And so now I want you to talk about the proactive aspects of, we'll talk about the proactive aspects of participation. You need to participate with your Kundalini. It's not all about just sitting back and have the Kundalini doing all the work for you. Oh, well, if Kundalini is just so powerful and so divine, well, why should I lift a finger? Well, there's a well-known phrase from the Bible that says, God helps those who help themselves. And this is also true within the Kundalini context. It's not all about, being complacent and having the Kundalini do all the work for you. It's just as important for you to reach within and discern the agenda of the Kundalini for you. Discern that, and upon that discerning, form an action-based ideology for you. So, for instance, if all of a sudden the Kundalini is saying, well, no more meat, well, then you need to follow that, the gift of that instruction, and actively trust it, and do not eat the meat. That is something that you have done. You have changed the paradigm from just receiving information to receiving information and acting on that information, rather than just saying, oh, well, okay, I won't eat meat except for today. I'm kind of talking about people that will sometimes develop a laissez-faire kind of lazy attitude about the Kundalini within them and joining in a conscious partnership with the Kundalini. In many ways, the Kundalini will come to a person in ways that are challenging if they do partake of an attitude that is more of a Kundalini couch potato rather than, an active participant in the illumination process. And this can develop into a stagnant energy response. A stagnant energy response can be exceptionally painful in the joint areas, the areas of the joints, the knees, the shoulders, the wrist, the elbows, the ankles, the joints of the fingers, joints of the toes, even the spine, the neck. These areas can and the teeth, actually. These areas can suffer what the medical community will call phantom pain, because you'll have this pain. You'll have the pain in more than one area, and you'll race off to the doctor, because anything that is painful, well, it must be a medical condition, and so of course we race to the ER, and the ER does all these tests upon you, and they say, oh, geez, Mr. Chrism, there's nothing wrong with you. We can't find anything wrong with you. You must be having some anxiety. Here, have this anti-anxiety pill, and then off you go. So I want you to know that for those of you who know that you have Kundalini, that you have to lift a finger. I mean, I hate to be so absolutist about it, but let me put it this way. Unless you want to experience the dimension of stagnant energy responses, it is best to begin to have a proactive, inclusive relationship with your Kundalini. So do the selfless service for other people. Reach into the populations with your radiance, your love, your tolerance, your compassion, your understanding, and your forgiveness. Be diligent in responding to the Kundalini when it suggests that you do a certain thing. do not resist it. Do not resist it. Find sources of information that your Kundalini is trying to lead you to. Books are not always the answer, but the Kundalini may lead you to books. And if that book falls off the shelf, or you just find yourself constantly going back to that one book at that bookstore, then, if you can afford it, get the book. Read the book and feel how your Kundalini responds as those pages are being read. Pay attention to how you feel on the inside. The Kundalini is an inside school. It's an inside experience that oftentimes will express from the inside to the outside, such as with the radiance. Okay, so understand that it is a partnership, a conscious partnership between you and the divine force within you. Listen to what it has to say. Listening to what it has to say is also a part of that partnership. So you actively listen. You listen to the Kundalini. You don't necessarily listen to your ego or your wants or your desires. Kundalini can feel so good at the beginning. It feels marvelous that you have the feeling that, oh my God, you have found divinity. You have found God. I mean, you become a Kundalini zealot at times, and you will want to bring this to every person in the world. You'll want to bring this to them in great, broad brush strokes of grace upon them, because you know it feels so good, and you know that it's the right way, and it is the right way. You are absolutely correct. And yet not everyone is ready to have it at this time. They haven't gone through the lifetime lessons that they need to learn. They haven't had the refinement experiences that they need to have. And so not everybody, actually the majority of the population, is not ready to have this. Sincerely, the majority of the population on this world in the year 2013 is not ready to have the awakened Kundalini. But a percentage of that is. And I believe that would be you who are listening to this. Listening to this as you drive your car to work or from work. Listening to this as you take a nice long road trip. Listening to this information and pulling this information in and applying this information to your daily lifetime blessed activities. You are ready to have this, and many of you already have it. So within that context, participate. Stand up and be heard within yourself, within your heart, within your Kundalini. Don't feel that you always have to wait for the Kundalini to give you a very specific instruction. Follow the safety protocols. The safety protocols were written by the Kundalini. They are a mixture of Kundalini responses from many different cultures from all over the world, from the Bushmen of Africa to the ancient Chinese, to the ancient Sanskriti people, to the Egyptians, the Magi. I mean, the shamans of Siberia, the shamans of the Amazon basin. Every culture on this world has its name for the Kundalini, and the Kundalini follows a very, very similar agenda. And so these safety protocols are taken from all of those groups. And so you're not having to, I'm not asking you to change your religion. I'm not asking you to change your belief system. I'm not asking you to do any of those things. I'm suggesting that you follow these protocols, these safety protocols. And at another conversation, we will go into the safeties in explicit detail. But for the moment, I want you to go to the KundaliniAwakeningSystems1.com website. And on the left-hand margin, you'll see an option there that says safeties. And I want you to click on that. Then I want you to print them out. Copy them down. If you're having Kundalini right now, I would suggest that you print a copy for your car, you print a copy for your bathroom, you print a copy for your bedroom, and you print a copy for your living room, so that you're always there. You can always have that reference, that resource to help you with your participation in the Kundalini awakening process. It is a participatory situation. It isn't something where you just lay down and say, okay, Kundalini, I'm yours. I surrender completely. Go ahead, take me. I'm yours. It's not going to work so well for you. The Kundalini isn't trying to find slaves. It wants people who are ready to take the step into a divine existence. And of course, when you look at the whole idea of surrendering, and everybody's a slave to Shakti. Everybody's a slave to the Kundalini. I mean, we are all from a divine source, and so when we're working with that divine source, that creator source, we're completely beholden to that source. But it's not the same way, in the corrupt way, that humanity practices levels of surrender. This is a very pure way. This is a way of surrendering to the grace within you, to the heavenly fields within you, to the potential to become a divine personage in this lifetime right now that is existing within you. Kundalini is what transformed all the saints that were actual saints from the Catholic Church and from the Eastern Orthodox Church and from many of the other churches, including the Hindu belief system, where the Kundalini awakening is what brings the phenomena of sainthood. But it just goes to show you that you don't have to be, Prince Peter on Palo Alto Mountain in order to have Kundalini come to you and have the signature of becoming a saint. All you need is levels of refinement towards love, refinement towards forgiveness, refinement towards tolerance, and the graces of truth and honesty and justice. These types of balancing equations are what brings the Kundalini to a person, brings even the name, the idea of the word Kundalini to a person. So if this idea has come to you and is forming a stronger interest within you, then participate in that interest. Find the books that you like. Read Gopi Krishna's account and just understand that the only reason Gopi Krishna had such a difficult time is because he didn't have any teachers there at the time. There were very few teachers at that time in 1934 India that had Kundalini or were willing to teach about the Kundalini. Many of the Brahmins considered Kundalini to be sacred knowledge and not to be shared with those who hadn't joined their special group or belonged to their special country club. See, so the masses of humanity didn't get to partake of knowledge that could be very, very helpful to them. And so Gopi Krishna had to learn the hard way. And if you read his book, Kundalini, the Evolutionary Energy in Men, you read basically his diary about what it is to have the Kundalini and what it is to make, a lot of the different mistakes within the Kundalini, like not surrendering to it and refusing to eat meat if it tells you to eat meat, or to eat vegetables if it says don't eat meat. Refusing at every turn, which is very similar to my path as well, because I didn't have a teacher either. But I have been compelled to put the Kundalini grace within me out there for you to partake of. This is part of my participation. And I will invite you to give your participation by coming to a retreat. They're not expensive. We're not out here trying to make $1 gazillion or euros, for that matter. You know, €1 is worth $1 gazillion American dollars at this point. But I want you to try to make it a point to come to one of these retreats. Let this be a way of ascertaining your participation, you know, in your process. See if your Kundalini is drawing you to one of these retreats. Let's set up a retreat in Europe. Let's set a retreat up in the East Coast of the United States. Let's set a retreat up in Japan, in Australia, in India, in Africa, anywhere on this world. Let's get this knowledge out there, really, into the masses, so that they have the options that they may have been denied due to the feudal qualities of the ancient past. Feudal meaning, competitive. Oh, we'll keep this knowledge secret so nobody else can have it. Type of knowledge of the distant past. Let's bring this knowledge, this grace, into the world at large. There's really no better time than right now to do this. Really come into this understanding. I will travel wherever I can get to. Amelia and I were just yesterday looking at places in Europe where we could do have a retreat, like say in England. You know, we're looking at Glastonbury in England, or Findhorn in Scotland. We're looking in different places, say Germany, or anywhere that is central, so that people can go. In Florida, Eileen has a lot of contacts in Florida, so having a seminar in Florida would be a doable place, as well as New York or anywhere in between. The important thing is to get this energy out there, this information out there, this understanding out there into the populations. The worst thing that can happen is that society will become a better place to live. Okay, a better place to live. Let the sacred weave of the Kunalini come through you into other people. Come to these retreats and come into an understanding within yourself that you need to participate with your Kundalini. Participate with it. Share it in the ways that you can share it. Let your radiance flow out from you into the masses. Not in a way that's manipulating them, or you're not giving a healing to everyone on the world, which is so wrong. Not everybody wants a healing. Not everybody needs a healing. And you're not the one to give it anyway. It's the Kundalini that will give it or not give it. You see, as much as possible, we try to take the ego out of the equation. As much love as you feel, which is wonderful, and grace that you feel, which is wonderful, you have to also understand that people have their choice. People have their, they can feel if they want a healing, they can come and they can get it. But when it comes to the Kundalini, the divine source knows what the people need and what they're able to have and what they're able to hold, not your ego. And so you allow the Kundalini itself to stretch out into the masses and to give to them what they can have, using you as that source, that power station, that broadcast, that Kundalini broadcast station. That's what you're being asked to become. a Kundalini broadcast station. And this leads to a little bit of a talk about what Satara does, what Amelia Satara does with her Kundalini Integrated Therapeutic Touch program. And I'm going to pass the phone over to her, and she can talk a little bit about that.
Okay, well, what I do is I'm a holistic massage therapist, and Kundalini, as Chrism was speaking about earlier, Kundalini communicates with us and we listen and we take action. Kundalini directed me to become a massage therapist. And so I did the training, and what happens now is that before I meet with the client, I spend time with my Kundalini. I go into a devotional space, and I'm very devotional with Kundalini. And from there, I then meet with the client. And what occurs is, okay, so I am beginning to do the massage in the way that I would. I use my movements as you would doing a holistic massage, but Kundalini begins to reach through me and begins to direct how the massage goes. And that's a Kundalini Integrated Therapeutic Touch kit. And that is what does the massage. And it's a great honor to be able to do that. I mean, people have amazing responses. Some people, out of the blue, will begin to cry. And they will begin to, just cry and cry, and they're given permission to do that. Other people will begin to feel very physical, tactile things such as heat or pressure and things like that, and people have been amazed at what has occurred during the massage. And some people feel nothing. It's really basically whatever the Kundalini decides, and I step back from that. But I have to say it is a wonderful thing to be able to do, and it's done with love. And I just love that Kundalini chose me to do this. It's something that I really enjoy doing. It fills me. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Amelia Satara, for that. It is. It's such a feeling of completion when you're able to do what you're directed to do for another person from the Kundalini. What a beautiful grace it is. And this is what we're talking about with regards to participating. You participate not only for yourself, but for those around you. Part of your process is helping other people in the various and many ways that people require assistance. And speaking of that, I want to pass our wonderful little cell phone over to Eileen, and she can give you an idea how she reaches out.
Thank you, Chrism. First, I just want to say I look forward to a kit massage from Amelia. It sounds wonderful. From the very beginning, when I first met Chrism, to begin with, I didn't have any idea what Kundalini was. And when I met Chrism, I immediately started working with him and with the program. And unlike so many people, and Chrism mentioned this before, it isn't a good idea necessarily to speak about what's happening with family and friends. But for some, I was directed, basically, I didn't realize it, but I was directed to begin sharing the program and sharing the information with people. I speak of Kundalini with anyone that I meet. I tend to bring it up. The other day I was at a market, and this man was selling rocks and stones and gems, and for some reason, there was nothing around or no reason for me to say it other than I was supposed to say it. I asked him if he was on a spiritual path, and I said, I think you probably are. And I ended up giving him my card, and he had this big smile on his face. I have met people across country. I've lived in 5 states in the last 6 years, and each state that I've been in, each place I've been in, I've been out and about promoting the program. And it's not that I set up a table or anything. I just go into a restaurant and I start talking. and invariably the topic comes up. I ask people if they've ever heard of Kundalini, and then if I've only found one person in all this time that seems somewhat reluctant. Oftentimes the people say, oh, I've been thinking about that, or I've been reading about that. I would like more information, and then I direct them to the site. I feel very honored to be able to be an ambassador, as Chrism sometimes calls me. It is such a joy, as Amelia feels the joy in giving to others through her service of the massage, through the KIT, her program. I feel joy and I feel honored to be allowed to express the Kundalini with other people. I'm not afraid of speaking about it, of giving the information. I just kind of am happy about it, and it's been very helpful to my process, because with love and service as a base, as Chrism says with his program, with the CATS program, the more service one gives and the more offering one gives, the more we receive. And I've received a tremendous amount. And I want to say one other thing. As Chrism was speaking and Amelia was speaking regarding the safeties, Chrism has put together a CD. It's a music CD called Kundalini Sacred Music, and there are about 7 tracks on that given to him by Shakti, and I loved listening to this music. And at the end of that CD, he goes over the safeties. So it's about a 20-minute discussion of the safeties, and that is another venue, another way for you to connect with the safeties. And the beauty of this is you could go to the website and read about the safeties, which is wonderful. But listening to the CD, you receive the verbal transmission of the energetics, which is a gift in and of itself. You will receive, from what Chrism says, the energy through the reading, but when you hear it, you hear his voice, and you hear Shakti speaking through him, I can't really describe it. I find it very comforting, and I learn something every time I listen to that CD. And going over the safeties, I've listened to it many, many times, and each time it's new, because in each moment that I listen to it, I'm a little bit further along in my process. So I wanted to make sure that you heard about the CD, and if you're interested, please contact one of us or go to the site, and the main site, and it is listed there on one of the, I can't remember now, I think it's the donation or the donation button. You'll get information as to how you could order that CD. It's a wonderful way to learn about the safeties, and you can repeatedly listen to it as well as read about them. And I'm just very grateful for my teacher and for my Kundalini and for all the people that I have met through this program.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you. Yes, I haven't mentioned the CD very much, and thank you, Eileen, for bringing that up. If you do want to order a CD, we'll send it anywhere that the mail will send it in the world. And Eileen is typically been the person in the forefront of that process, and her email, once again, is eloro55@yahoo.com. And I believe the CDs are about how much? $15 if it's in the U.S.
If it's international, I might not.
And if it's international, she'll add whatever the postage is to the 15. Partake of those songs and those chants. They're real, and they do have that energetic quality. You'll certainly feel it in each of the tracks, and there is a discussion, as Eileen mentioned, of the safeties as on the last track. And so really do your best to participate with the Kundalini. Don't just sit back and feel that it is something that will do it to you and you don't have to lift a finger. To some degree, that does occur, but in the larger, bigger picture, that does not occur, and you need to be an active participant in your enlightenment. An active participant in your enlightenment, and really allow yourself the time and the intention to make that true, to make that a truth for yourself as well. And if you can sponsor a retreat, then I invite anyone and everyone who wants to sponsor a retreat to sponsor it. Basically, what we need is a place, not a big, expensive venue. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for as many people as we can get into a place that want to learn about the Kundalini. And so, with that in mind, we just need a place that can hold, maybe 30 people. I'm not looking at huge crowds. 30 people, and I'll need some help with the travel because, as you may understand and as you may know from the BlogTalk radio broadcasts, that I don't charge. I don't charge to give this knowledge out to people, but I stopped giving seminars for a certain amount of time because I went in the hole paying for my airfare, and I lost whatever savings I had because I wanted to give this to people, and now I have to depend upon those who are receiving to give a little bit back into the process. And so, once again, if you're interested in hosting a seminar, then please contact Amelia Santara at kundalinimatters@gmail.com or Eileen Laurel at ELOR55@yahoo.com, or you can contact me directly at kfireforall, that's KFIREFORALL @yahoo.com. And this is a shorter broadcast than we've had before, but I just wanted to touch on these two topics very, very quickly. If there is anyone who would like to call in. What's that ID phone number? Well, here's Eileen's going to give you her phone number.
My phone number is 239-246-5608. 239-246-5608. And my email is ELORO55@yahoo.com. That's ELORO55@yahoo.com. Or I'm going to repeat Amelia's. It's Kundalini Matters, one word, @gmail.com.
So yes, now if there's anybody who would like to call, they have a question right now about their Kundalini process or questions about what could occur with the Kundalini process, please call this number right now. The number is 347-934-0026. 347-934-0026. Okay, and in the meantime, I would like to suggest that for those of you that already have the Kundalini awakened, and you may want to consider coming to these seminars as well, simply because of the Kundalini community that is developing. Really, really find it, in the context of your awakening, to be with other people that are like you. Men, women, young, old, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I will say that this is not a Reiki format. This isn't selling masterships or using symbols to do a certain thing. This isn't holding your hands up to the heavens and saying, "Spirits of the universe, enter my hand." We're not mediums. Okay, We're not astrologers. We're not tarot card readers. Okay, we have the Kundalini, and it's from the Kundalini that the gifts of grace will flow. And as I see that there are no callers, and so I'm going to go ahead and thank you all for listening, and I wish you the best in everything that comes to your life, and look forward to talking with you again next week. Thanks for listening.